Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we are taking on Crevasse Shinryu, so this is going to be my first video I'm going to upload on Crevasse. This is part 7 versus the Death Gazes. Now, I am commentating over a pre-recorded video, and I had to redo this fight. You guys saw right away, I forgot to put the code on for the force time, so I get like way less points than I should here. But I redid it with this exact same team. I think at the end of this video it's only like 40 points. But in my final run, I got 97 for like the same team. So I did get 427 points in Crevasse, which got all the rewards. So if you want to see my full lineup that I did for all of Crevasse, that is in I have a Crevasse guide video that is up on my channel at the time you're seeing this. So feel free to check that out. I'll link it at the end here. But yeah, this fight, I would say the big thing with this fight, the two big things that is annoying about the Death Gazes, one is they put a very powerful poison on you that can ruin your HP requirement at the end if you don't know how to deal with it. And then the other thing is when you hit all their thresholds, like you could do a big FR, and then if you hit a bunch of thresholds, they're gonna like do a bunch of rip attacks at you back to back to back to back to back. So you have to have a way to mitigate that, right? So here, like with Luna Freya, I just go in right away, start charging, go into LD right away, and just start going crazy and charging up like pretty much right away. Now for me, Cater is really the key to this fight. I love Cater, and what I love about Crevasse and Lockout fights in general is it gets me to go back into my box and use some of these characters I haven't used in a while. And I remember I was really impressed when Cater, when her C90 came out. I force enhanced 30'd her because she's a force charger. She's basically kind of a pseudo tank. She has a 100% dodge chance. She can lock onto the enemies. But the big thing that's so powerful about Cater that works so well in this fight is her LD has the freeze debuff on it. And the freeze debuff is really the best way to deal with these Death Gazes because I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, I think that their HP damage can't be mitigated. So I think like even like Raijin Call doesn't work on these guys. So freeze debuff is what you have to do. You have to stop them from gaining Brave. So I think the way most people deal with this is like with a Setzer Call. Because Setzer Call does the same thing. It has a freeze debuff, or sets her in the party, right? But yeah, I just wanted to bring Cater in the party. I thought this was really a great spot to have her. And she does a really great job in this fight. And there's that powerful freeze debuff. And the thing with Cater is it's a 3-turn freeze, which is very, very good, right? So very much enjoyed this fight. And then the whole idea is we just have Tifa around to basically punch things and melt the fight away, right? So in my Crevasse guide that I did, I do talk about like the perfect team setup if you want to go for max score. This is like what Mark did on TCC. He showed his stuff during the podcast this past week. But basically you have to do a triple yellow single sword team. And then so on one Shinryu, you have to do a triple yellow sword team. And then on the other fight, you have to do a triple green unique weapon team, right? And so Tifa technically isn't optimal for this Crevasse because there is no weapon code for Fist. But it doesn't matter. So even without doing perfect codes on everything, I was still able to get 427. And I'm going to be honest, I did not stress about the extra 9 tickets. I honestly was just going to be happy with 350. But once I just went in, I just naturally went in and did the team comps I wanted. And I got 427. So it just worked out for me, right? Once again, don't get frustrated if you can't beat all this stuff. This is really for veteran players. It's a roster check. You need to have a lot of characters, a lot of options to get these done. So feel free to start with the easier fights if you need to, right? And just get as many points as you can. So basically at this point, I'm kind of taking it a little bit slower in the middle here. But I'm just working my way. Basically, the fight is I'm working my way to force time. Working my way to force time. And then blow things up with Tifa. This fight, typically, I did this fight a few times, and with Tifa, it usually takes me a couple of force times. Like the first force time, I usually get them down pretty darn low, but to like the 30 to 20-something% range. But then I have to go a little bit slow because once they hit their force time, they don't take HP damage. It's interesting because, you know, Tifa and Luna Freya, so like Luna Freya's Heavy Prayer, basically adds extra true damage onto your attacks, and like Tifa also does that with her own kit. So it's really funny because when they're in force time, your main HP attacks do 0, but the extra HP dumps that come off of those effects actually still do damage. So you do like a teeny bit of damage during the force time, but this is one of those fights where if they hit force, you just have to let them run their course and let them go through their force, and then you let them come out. So we're about to hit a force time here. So I go ahead and I quick prayer Tifa. We were setting her up for her deal. And Luna Freya is just so good because it just allows characters like Tifa to set up their own force and then just go into it. We don't have to like press the button with Tifa, let 2 other characters go, and then finally go into Tifa's burst. We really can maximize damage just by letting the force character do what they want to do here, right? So with Tifa here, I believe we go into burst here because we need to get the burst effect up. I think I'm debating because of like how many turns I have, but yeah, we go into burst and then we want to go right into force. And then basically I think my goal here is I like to get into I like to go into Tifa's burst phase. What I've been liking with force in general is when I'm doing this, no matter what character it is, I like going into force time when it's at 8 turns. That way I can go through the entire character's burst phase, we come out of it and have 1 turn left, and we pop the Brother Summon. The Brother Summon will basically do, when you're at like the final turn of a force time, the Brother Summon does like 10 mil AoE. Like, it is humongous. Now, I don't remember if I hit that exactly right in this video, we'll see, but that's usually what I shoot for. I know a problem that happened a couple times in this fight was I got to that point, but my health was drained from a poison, and like the summon probably would have killed him, so then I couldn't because of HP requirement. But this fight I remember went pretty smooth, I'm pretty sure. So it was a while. I recorded this a few days ago. I think it was like the night Crevasse came out. I've just been so busy, I haven't had time to upload my videos, so I'm really trying to catch up a little bit this weekend here. So here we are, we're hopping into our force time, and Tifa's so powerful with those double follow-ups. It's what makes her burst like so crazy, right? Yeah, so on this one, I did just opt to hop into burst right away, so I won't have the optimal, like, summon brothers, right? Well, I could still summon brothers, though, right? It just won't be when I come out. I'm just getting a little bit less damage out of the force, or out of the burst phase, because ideally what you want to do is you want to hit that final burst attack on, like, the last or second to last turn of force to really maximize the damage. But Tifa's pretty strong. We're going to do plenty enough damage here to get them within range, right? So something I debate every time I go into this fight, it's like, do I just kill, like, because you very easily could just kill one of the death gazes flat out here, and then just kind of, because that, I think, could be a decent strategy. You could do, like, a Tifa force, just kill one death gaze flat out, and then do a second force, and then just single target the other death gaze, and, like, avoid all the thresholds. Probably the easier way to do it, but I'm always just so geared in, like, I want to keep their HP even, I want to get them both dead, so I kind of go back and forth here, but I'm sure if you did them one at a time, you might even have a smoother time of things. Once again, in this fight, though, I think it went fine. I don't remember struggling too much. We met all the requirements here. Once again, I just forgot to put the extra code on, but this is the exact same team I did use in my final run. Now, I am going to do another upload, and I did end up changing my team comp for the second fight, but I'm going to upload my first fight anyways, just to show you a team that can beat it. That Defender Z fight, right? Okay, so then, yeah, we go into burst here, so we're at 4 turns left, so normally you want this attack coming a little bit later, so I definitely could have timed this better, but I think it ends up working out okay. So basically, we're going to pop out of this, though, and they're going to do all their angry threshold things, and this is where Cater comes in. So watch how Cater just, like, stops all of this garbage coming at us here. So Banishing Gaze. So, like, yeah, they're not necessarily locked down, but this Rip Plus, they do a Brave Gain and they, like, one-shot you. And because they're frozen, they do nothing. And then when they do target Cater, Cater's going to counter all these attacks with a pretty high force gauge, right? So in this instance, like, coming out of it a little bit early actually ended up okay when you've got Cater countering out and doing pretty big damage with the force gauge here. So we kind of have the benefit of that. Like, these are like 1 mil counters Cater's doing right here. So, even though I didn't optimize that burst very well, Cater's actually making up a lot of damage right now. Cater's getting it done here. She's a very good character. She's a character I feel like is somewhat underrated in the community. I feel like she doesn't get talked about enough. And she's one of my favorite characters in the game. Along with Rem. I really like Rem, but Cater, just the ability to counter, to tank. She's got some decent auras. She does have a trap, which I don't even know if we see the trap in this video. I think we do. If the enemies actually take their own turn, because here's the thing, those, like, threshold attacks, those don't actually count as the enemy taking a turn, so it doesn't decrease their debuffs. So you can see they have a 1-turn trap on them, and that's Cater's landmine. Unfortunately, we're not going to hit it here, But if you hit those landmines while the force gauge is up, it gets kind of wild. So yeah, now here with Tifa, we're still in force time, by the way. So you can just do her free turn attacks and build it up, right? And then sure, they can do more counters. They can try to rip her, but they're they're pretty frozen out. They can't really do anything, right? So here's the thing. We are just getting like insanely lucky in this fight, and their poison debuffs just keep missing us. Because we're supposed to have like a really big fat poison on right now. So we got really lucky. So we just go into summon. Here's our big like, yeah, 8 mil AoE. That's normally 10 mil. The gauge just wasn't quite optimized enough. We normally get that gauge a little bit higher. But yeah, we get a big AoE. And then we're just sitting here in a summon. And then I could just LD here with 675. This is going to darn near kill this guy. So, yeah, pretty darn close. So then at this point, we don't need another force time. They're low enough that I think Tifa's just going to go in and get this done. But yeah, I don't know what happened, but we just got super lucky in this fight. And those Reaper Rises, they're supposed to put a nasty poison on us, and it just kept missing every time. And I didn't have any type of debuff evasion on or anything like that. We just got really lucky, because I did the same team over and over again, and that poison just bit me. It like... There were several fights I had to do over and over again because I would beat it, and then my HP was too low, and then all that stuff, right? But this fight, super smooth sailing. We got it done. Very unfortunate I did not put that code on because this would have been just one and done, basically. I think this was one of my... I think this was maybe like my second attempt on it, because once I learned about that, they did all those rip attacks. Like, okay, I need some way to mitigate that. And then I brought Cater in, and then it got pretty fun. Got pretty fun with catering here. We go ahead and we refresh the freeze debuff, put the trap back on. Yeah, the enemies, we don't even get to see that landmine go off here because they're at 2 and 3%, so they're about to blow up and pop here, right? Yup. And then I said sure, let's just go ahead with Luna Freya. Let's do the LD. Once again, we refreshed the freeze debuff, so they're just not doing anything here. Yep, Banishing Gaze, miss. Counter out. So yeah, they're trying to do all that stuff, and I don't know, this fight just went super smooth for me. But a good way to deal with that poison debuff is bring a lot of healing calls so that you can just, whatever character ends up on your final turn, you can just heal before you do the finishing blow. Or bring something that's going to basically give you debuff evasion, like Lena or Aerith. Or bring Isuna calls. So you could bring like Balthier call, you could bring Unit call, or you could bring one of them in the party, right? But some way to deal with that poison. So we don't actually see it in this video, but trust me, they have a nasty poison, and it drains you. Like, when it gets going, it drains you like down to 1 HP, like constantly. And it just hurts your HP gauge. But this fight, it's like that poison debuff doesn't exist. So super smooth sailing. So anyways, guys, there you go. That is stage 7 of Crevasse. We'll see the end screen here, but when I did this properly with the code, I got 97 points. My score here is going to be very low for the Crevasse score, and I don't know if I show it here at the end. We'll double check and see if it pops up here at the end. I think when I click next. Yeah, see, I only have 40 points, but properly done with the extra code on there, I got 90. I think it was 97. It was 93 or 97. This one might have been 93, but anyways, guys, hope this helps. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.